I never thought a cracked, 30-year-old debit card could make a grown man cry. I stood at the marble counter of First Liberty Trust, clutching the faded plastic like it was a losing lottery ticket. The magnetic stripe was scratched to hell, the embossed numbers barely legible. I was in yesterday's clothes, hair unwashed, smelling faintly of the $39 a night motel I'd called home for 4 days. I know it looks ancient, I muttered to the teller. It was my dad's. I just want to know if there's anything left. $10, whatever. The teller, name tag, Harold Green, smiled the polite smile of someone used to sad stories. He was 60 if he was a day, with kind eyes and a voice like warm tea. Let's find out, dear. He slid the card through the reader. I expected the machine to spit it back, with a rude beep. Instead, Harold froze. His hand hovered midair. The color drained from his face so fast I thought he was having a stroke. He stared at the screen, blinked hard, then stared some more. Miss Harper. Sophia Harper, he whispered, reading my name like it was holy. Could you step into my office? Right now. My stomach lurched. Did I do something wrong? No, please. His voice cracked. He lifted the counter gate himself, hands trembling. Customers turned. A teenage boy filmed us with his phone. 2 security officers materialized like they'd been waiting for this exact moment. I wanted to bolt, but Harold gently took my elbow and guided me through a door marked employees only. We ended up in a windowless room that smelled of coffee and old paper. Harold locked the door, sat me down, and spun his monitor toward me. I need to verify it's really you, he said, pushing his glasses up a sweaty nose. Driver's license, mother's maiden name, first pet. Every security question I answered made his eyes grow wider. Then he turned the screen fully. $52,800,000. The numbers blurred. I gripped the armrest so hard my knuckles went white. That's not possible, I croaked. There's a mistake. My dad changed light bulbs for a living. We ate canned ravioli 5 nights a week. Harold exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for decades. 27 years ago, your father sold a worthless patch of dirt on the edge of the riverfront. The buyer paid him a tiny upfront fee, and because your dad was clever, 2% of whatever that land eventually made. Nobody thought the land would ever be worth anything. I knew what came next before he said it. They built Riverside Plaza on it, he continued. Condos, hotels, the convention center, the arena, everything. For 27 years, 2% of every lease, every parking fee, every concert ticket has quietly flowed into a blind trust your father created. A trust that locked the second you turned 21. A trust no one, not creditors, not family, not a future husband, could ever touch. I laughed, high and broken. So while I was eating ramen in college, while I was working double shifts so my ex could start his precious real estate company, while Mark kicked me out of our house with 1 suitcase and $43, $52 million was just sitting here? Harold's eyes glistened. Your father never took a cent. Not once. He wanted you to earn your own way first, so you'd know who loved you for you. Mark. My ex. The man who'd smiled while his lawyer explained I'd signed a postnup just in case the business ever took off. The man who'd changed the locks the day the judge signed the papers. 4 months ago, right after his investigator came back empty-handed, he'd suddenly become desperate to move on quickly. Now, I understood why. Harold printed documents thick enough to stun a burglar. There's more, he said quietly. 6 weeks ago, someone using your social security number tried to access this account. We blocked it, of course. But the request came from an IP address registered to a law firm, the same one that handled your divorce. The room spun. Mark hadn't just left me. He tried to strip me bare, betting I'd never find the fortune he couldn't legally touch. He wanted me broken enough to crawl back. I stood on shaking legs. What happens now? Harold handed me a sleek black card with a single name embossed in gold. Elena Vasquez, Trust Litigation. Call her. Today. And Sophia? He took my hand like a grandfather. Your father used to come in every December just to check the balance. He'd stand right where you stood, smile at the screen, and leave without ever withdrawing a dime. He told me once, some gifts have to stay wrapped until the right Christmas. I walked out the side door into blinding afternoon sun. Same cracked sidewalks, same city smells, same woman who'd had nothing an hour ago. Except everything was different. I pulled out my phone with fingers that finally stopped shaking and dialed the number on the card. Vasquez and Associates. A crisp voice answered. Hi, I said, and my voice didn't waver once. My name is Sophia Harper, and I believe my ex-husband committed fraud. I'd like to reopen my divorce, effective immediately. I hung up, looked at the sky, and for the first time in years I smiled like I meant it. Dad always said the best revenge is living well. Turns out he made damn sure I could.